something to where you would think at least one team would rebound. But look, the big news out of Rouge, Darius Geis is not going to be playing for LSU against Syracuse, and they didn't play well with him for much of the game in Mississippi State. And look, LSU is still going to be a big favorite in that game, but I'm curious to see how Syracuse reacts knowing that one of the most potent weapons in college football will not be playing. I think it's going to give Syracuse a little boost in juice when they come to Tiger Stadium, and I'm not going to call it an upset, but this game might be a little tighter than we imagine.
No chance.
No chance.
It's not going to matter one hill of beans.
Really?
They'll roll over Syracuse. I think they're going to take out their frustrations on them. Syracuse has no defense. I don't see it being a factor at all. I really don't. I mean, this is a team that Pitt last year, Canada's Pitt team, scored 76 on Louisville last year. I think they scored close to 60 and shut it down the fourth quarter. They haven't played anybody of this level. Central Connecticut State they played, Central Michigan, and then they lost to Middle Tennessee. They're going to get routed. They're catching LSU at the wrong time, just like the Saints caught New England at a bad time. I think it's going to be ugly.
Well, I'm going to be curious to see what Syracuse's perspective is. And tease, we're going to Syracuse.com's Brent Axe coming us up at Syracuse, one of our sister advance media outlets. So we'll talk with Brent Axe around 10:35 about Syracuse. Of course, they're coming in to play LSU Saturday night in Death Valley, and then we will shift gears. Probably not to soccer, even though Juan would love us to talk soccer.
Hey now.
Hey now. Which means YouTube is actually back. Miracles do happen. Clark is going to try to chime in.
I've got the magic touch, and when we talk about soccer, you know that's my jam, so let's go. I'm ready to go.
Well, we're not going to talk about soccer.
We're talking about Juan Kincaid, right?
Yes.
Is he a soccer guy, too?
Yeah, he played soccer, I think, in college.
Shut up. Okay, great.
I thought Clark was about to curse. Going to be shit.
First, trying to get first month and a half of the show.
Soccer, we can at least touch a little bit on it because Juan is going to be making a trip over to London. He's going to be a part of our kind of media roundtable we're going to do with Saints fans and NFL fans over in London a week from today, actually, a week from Thursday over in London. And I know Juan is all geeked up to go to the Premier League match on Saturday. We'll find out which one he's going to. But he is a soccer nerd. He plays. I think he plays out at City Park or something in an adult league.
There are a lot of media peeps in town who play soccer. That is one sport as a kid I never played. Now my kid plays it. I never played soccer once. I played soccer and I never played tackle football because I was like
frail and
a slick. I mean, when I played high school, 6'1", $135. That is got a tennis body
that's
written
like
all over.
We need to check on.
I could never gain weight. I was a freshman 15 the first semester at LSU, though.
But boy,
the freshman first semester quickly.
15 pounds of liquid.
Yes, that metabolism changes, unfortunately, as we get older.
Yes, now I've got dead bod, and that's very apparent.
But on soccer, I didn't play growing up in Louisville. It wasn't kind of in the youth leagues. Of course, that was a long time ago, Larry, as you know. But I'm also
when like Teddy Roosevelt was president, right?
A little later, just maybe one era later.
Maybe Franklin Roosevelt.
Franklin D. No, I always was amazed early on in my journalism career. We'd have our editorial meetings, and our editors would force us to try and cover soccer because they said all the kids are playing it. It's going to be the sport taking over America. And the only reason kids play it at a young age is because it's so simple. It's easily the simplest sport to play for a 5 or 6 year old.
Yes.
Toward that goal. It's not sophisticated like baseball or football by any means. So it's easy for kids to understand early on. And I realize I'm simplifying this, but that's why I think in America kids play at 5 or 6, and then they kind of graduate on to other sports because they get more attracted to football or baseball or basketball.
I tell you, with experience, there's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. It is. You can at least kick a ball, score a goal. In kids T-ball, where are we going with this? Kids T-ball, they might field the ball, and they throw it, and it might hit the parent who's standing on the side. And they might whiff the T-ball, the ball on the tee like 10 times. But yeah, it's certainly different. Anyway, Juan Kincaid is going to be joining us 15. Juan Kincaid lost to kids T-ball, and you being a child in the Teddy Roosevelt era. But yeah, Juan Kincaid is going to join us around 11:15. And of course, it's Thursday. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. Jeff wants to pick segment bores you to death. He wants to try to spice it up. He thinks it's boring that we just make picks. I enjoy the banter because usually it involves me being terrible. That's not good enough for you? Me admitting flaws, that's not good enough for you?
Seems very boring to me. I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts on YouTube or out in the listening audience, because to me, I got the Lions. I'm picking this. I mean, I think we need more banter.
We just need an hour to the show. That's all. We just need to add
Picks.
another hour for picks, and we can banter for like 45 minutes.
I don't know.
That's what I think.
And I'm about it. If everybody wants to keep it, I certainly want to keep it, but it doesn't sound like great radio to me.
I'm close-minded right now because it's been a staple, so now we're going to just keep the ball rolling. And Clark might jump out the window here.
Yeah, seriously.
If we quit picks, it's like his baby.
It's true.
Exactly.
It's like his week.
It is, really.
Yeah. Glory standing on top of the. What, do we know the records? Did you have those added?
I do. Thank you so much, Jeff. I was hoping you'd want to know what the records are again.
Already?
So again, me leading, of course, naturally, 18-12. Jeff, you're right behind. You're really close. Only this weekend, though. I just want to let you know you're only close this weekend at 16-14. And then good old Larry Holder bringing up the rear because I guess that's what he does.
The caboose.
13-17.
What? 13-17?
When's the last football game I've covered?
My goodness.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
That's
You know the college football game I've covered? It's been a long time. I don't cover football.
That's your excuse?
Of course.
You watch college football?
Remotely, barely. A lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Usually going out
This
to
is
eat.
some weak sauce, man. This excuse is weak sauce. I cover what, one game every other weekend? Does that means I get every Tulane LSU pick right? I was woefully wrong on LSU, as you were.
So was I.
Did you know who was right on that?
You picked State.
I picked State because I told you this game is always wacky.
Oh, boy.
Or was I right, though?
Anywho, we'll do that in the 11 o'clock hour at some point in time. After our interview with Juan Kincaid. You also hear from Drew Brees. He spoke with the media yesterday and had some interesting things to say about the Carolina Panthers. And one question that Jeff asked, I'm going to say, does not invoke a lot of confidence from a message Drew was going to give to the fan base. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, he didn't really expound on that like he normally does. Drew was a little snippy yesterday. Snippy's not the right word. Wasn't in a great mood, which is unusual for him. He's usually very rosy and expounds in his answers. Yesterday we got that kind of evil Drew. He was looking at his watch a lot, wanted to get out of there. He was darting his eyes over at the media relations crew to kind of get it over with. So we got businesslike. Probably the better word, not evil, because Drew's never evil. More businesslike. And he was somewhat Captain Sunshine as always, but not as much as normal. I could sense that.
Can you blame the guy? He's human.
I'm not blaming him, just the facts.
It's a human moment from him. I mean, because a lot of times I think people are tired of total sunshine and roses. I mean, he's a human being, and what do you do? I'm sure he is.
Have you ever cut into his arm to see if he would bleed, or is he?
Well, James Andrews did.
Brees.
Long ago, maybe they put a cyborg arm in there, and that's why he's been so awesome for so long. But yeah, we'll hear from Drew Brees on a variety of topics coming up later in the show, and we will take your phone calls. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Why don't we take a quick break right here on the show, and let's hear from Drew Brees. I mean, we're talking about him. Let's hear from him in the next segment, and then the following segment, Brent Axe, columnist from Syracuse.com. Of course, LSU taking on Syracuse. The Orange, no more men, just Orange. We'll talk with Brent at 10:35. Juan Kincaid at 11:15. College picks around 11:30, and what are some other youth sports we'll probably talk about? You know, curling. I think we can talk about
Cage ball.
I never played cabbage ball, which is awesome. I'm so glad I didn't play cabbage ball. That means your school, your grade school here in New Orleans, you actually played baseball like we did. Too many other little schools played cabbage ball instead.
Yeah, that's
Weak. Totally weak. Exactly.
Another easy sport to learn, cabbage ball.
See, we actually played baseball over at St. Matthew and River Ridge. That's how we do it.
River Ridge.
That's right. Sports here in studio. YouTube is cranking up. We're getting done here on Dunc and Holder.
Now they're saying your mic is cutting out.
My mic is cutting out?
On YouTube. Oh, on YouTube. Everybody else is fine.
Mornings 8 to 10.
Yeah, radio-wise, Clyde's mic is
Far away from the mic. They told us to stay far away.
Premature birth
So
is the
lean in a
number one
little
killer
more.
of babies.
Or
Those who
just
survive
pot up
often
his
face
value.
birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds
Yeah, all right.
of thousands of families.
Just stay where you're at.
Don't mess
This is the hardest.
yeah, because I mean that's the concern though, because like we got y'all's mics set up, but I've got all of y'all are only on one pot.
Right.
So if Clyde is too hot or too low, I can't adjust it.
Right. No, we will adjust
Tomorrow
it.
at marchadimes.org.
So stop taking days off, Clyde.
I think I may be able to.
All right, we're just gonna roll through these Brees clips. I'm guessing Sean was talking about draft misses today. I'm assuming he didn't go. Oh yeah, they signed Kendall Langford.
I saw that, yeah, we should go over that.
Oh, Marshawn Lattimore's on concussion protocol.
I didn't know that, I didn't see that. Oh, God.
We'll start with that.
Yeah, some news out of camp.
Total nightmare.
I picked the Saints to win. I'm picking them.
If Lattimore's out, I'm not picking him.
If they're losing Lattimore, they're in trouble.
I was like on the board, and then I saw he missed yesterday. He's in a concussion protocol, and they're like, they tried to ask him to talk, and he's like, I can't talk because you're not allowed to talk when you're in concussion protocol. So that's not good. That's not good at all.
No, he might be their second best defensive player right now, behind Cam. Nice.
I like it. Creepy Mr. Rogers. Saints making some moves yesterday, adding veteran defensive lineman Kendall Langford. Look, Mitchell Laven got put on injured reserve, so he's out for the year. They also elevated David Parry off the practice squad. He played a good bit. Why are they getting all these Colts retreads? That's not a good sign at all.
Not good at all.
For your defense. And they re-added Darryl Tapp, which to me, I thought maybe that would have happened last week, but now they're kind of getting light on the defensive line, so they brought him back as well. And so Sean Payton speaking with the media earlier today on Kendall Langford, saying he's someone we've had our eyes on for a few years back. He even came through here in free agency. No, I'm not going to. He says the same thing about all. He just describes measurables, and so he was also asked, would he play the tackle position? We think he has some position flex. Obviously, he played as an end in a 3-4 scheme, but we do think he has some flexibility there. So if you're an end in a 3-4 scheme, all you do is put someone next to you and you become a defensive tackle. So that's probably the case there.
He started 16 games in 2015 for the Colts and then 7 games last year. He must have got hurt. But he started every game the last 2 years when he was healthy. He's 6'5", 275. That's a bigger end than what they've had. he's bigger than, say, Okafor.
Right.
So maybe they're looking for somebody to be a little stouter against the run. He did have 7 sacks in 2015. It was a career high, though. I mean, this is a guy that's, 9-year veteran, so it's not like he's a spring chicken.
No.
But 7 sacks was the most he's ever had. Most of his career in Miami and St. Louis, he was kind of a backup. It looks like a guy that averaged 2 or 3 sacks. So I wouldn't count on him all of a sudden being a pass rush demon. He's probably a guy that's going to be a rotational player, help them in run defense.
Now, the most significant news to come out of the Saints facility yesterday, other than these transactions and such, Marshawn Lattimore did not practice, is in the concussion protocol. That is not good at all. He is one of your best defensive players already, and it's week 2. He's only 2 games into his season, his NFL career, and he's your best corner. And if he misses Sunday, that could lead to some trouble. Sterling Moore also has a pectoral injury, and he's going to be missing some time for a while. So you're down how many corners now? 3 at least with Delvin Breaux?
I would think King Crawley would be activated on the practice squad. And if they don't have Marshawn Lattimore, man, they are in trouble. When did the concussion occur? Do we even know?
It happened during the game. I remember it happened during the game when Von Bell came out and Lattimore came out. I think they both got hurt in the same play.
Bell came out.
They got hurt in the same play. And so, yes, it was. Now, the Saints could move up Arthur Millette off the practice squad. He might be better than these other guys. Honestly, I'm not.
Boy,
that's not hyperbole there.
Look, this is already the youngest defense in the league. It's about to get younger without Sterling Moore in the lineup. And if they have to promote King Crawley or Arthur Millette, that's a lot of rookies in that backfield. I mean, a lot. I don't think I've ever heard of that many in the rotation. I don't care how good they are; they're going to struggle and have growing pains.
And yeah, Field Yates from ESPN put up a graphic, and I'm guessing that's what you're alluding to. That
right.
The Saints are the youngest. Their starting lineup in week 2 was the youngest in the NFL. I think the combined age was, or average age was like 24.3 years, and that is very young. And I think the oldest might have been Arizona at 29. So the Saints are certainly young. Let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. David in Vegas. David, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got?
We hear you.
Hey, David, appreciate the phone call. He's referring to our Dat Chat podcast, which is kind of going by the wayside a little bit since we do radio every day at this rate. But we're going to try to get
get it back. I got
rolling.
emails on it, but we will get it back. We've got some little technical issues there. I know that's shocking
Right, exactly.
Especially to our YouTube audience.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hi, YouTube. We're back finally after a couple days of disaster without Clyde.
David made some good points, right? And I understand his frustration. I think the problem, if I'm in the front office right now, I think they're weighing, hey, we're going to get back Teron Armstead, Zach Strief, Willie Snead, and Delvin Breaux here in the next few weeks, probably after the bye week. The roster's going to be bolstered. Can they still be in it and make a run? I think they've got to weigh that before they just start selling off their players, like Kenny Vaccaro is a key part of their defense. I don't think they're at any stage right now to give up on the season, start planning for the future, especially not Sean Payton.
No, he
Who's
can't
on the
afford
hot
to.
seat.
He cannot afford to.
He's not. He's trying to win right now. Trust me. And I understand that some players like Tremont Williams have bigger, maybe high-profile names, but this front office is pretty diligent at bringing in players. I think they're really aggressive, actually. I look at them bringing in Kendall Langford right now. I mean, they do a good job of working guys out, and they have scouting reports on all these players. Maybe they miss on some. I agree. I'm not saying they're perfect, but it's not because they're not doing their homework on people. They've worked out. I think they brought in Tremont Williams free agency a few years ago.
Yes.
I believe.
It was the year they signed Brandon Browner.
Oh. Maybe not a good example.
Tremont Williams cost more though. I think he might have gone to Cleveland for $7 million a year, and they got Brandon Browner for $5 million a year. So, what $2 million a year might have done for you?
I'll be honest with you, David. You make some good points, but there's not going to be a lot of great cornerbacks on the market right now. At this point in the season, whoever's on the street is probably going to be just a gap filler, somebody to put in the lineup, but it's not going to be somebody that is going to make a difference. I know it could happen, but those are hard to find. Cornerbacks in this league at this level, they're not just out walking the street.
Yeah, I agree. David, of course, I say we're going to get to Drew Brees this segment, and of course I lied. Why don't we take a break here, and we'll get to Drew Brees in a couple segments from now. Coming up next here on the show, Syracuse.com columnist Brent Axe. Of course, LSU is going to be taking on Syracuse, Tiger Stadium on Saturday. We'll hear his thoughts. Jeff thinks without Darius Guice, it's not going to matter. LSU's going to win by 70. I'm not so sure. I'm wondering to see if the spread has changed. We'll get the latest from Clyde when we do our picks here in a little while. And Jeff is showing me a picture of Rob Ryan right now. Is he trying to look like Ric Flair or something?
He's undisputed now. He's an analyst.
That's where he is. So he has gone from having no job in 5 minutes to debating with Skip Bayless.
I think so.
Wow. If there's ever a time never to watch that show, which is all the time, this is another time.
He'd fit in well in New Orleans with that jacket.
With that getup. You think he would fit well in white linen night with that bad boy?
I'm not sure it's linen. It looks like a cheap cotton to me.
Exactly. So Brent Axe coming up next here. Sports1280 NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder.
Sounds like you fixed it.
I did, but you can't.
Just texted me again. I said, oh wow, that would have been great. Don't get me started. Jeez, he's like on a rant. He's like losing his mind.
He's going against front office.
He's just like,
he's pointing out that he didn't do something he wanted to do. What do you think?
no doubt. But he wants to put it out there.
Yeah, he's showing that he didn't get what he wanted.
Well, he would have been right.
No,
But I'm putting it out there. No doubt, he's doing this on purpose, so I will put it out there because it'll catch wildfire.
Wildfire. roll Charlie around a little bit.
Don't get me started. Cool. How much time we got? All right, I got some time to go get water.
Go for it. there. He just did something.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Welcome back, Duncan Holder. Back at you on a Thursday. 2 days away from LSU and Syracuse. And joining us right here on the show, Brent Axe from Syracuse.com, one of our sister advanced media outlets up in New York. Hey, Brent, appreciate you jumping on the show. And how much do you think that the loss of Darius Geis could jumpstart Syracuse? He's one of the best weapons in college football. And from what Ed Ogeron said last night on his radio show, doesn't sound like Geis is going to be playing on Saturday.
I mean, Geis is going to be probably a high NFL draft pick, but as you know, at these big-time programs like LSU, the guys behind him on the depth chart were 4- and 5-star recruits. Darrell Williams out of the Baton Rouge area that was highly recruited. I tend to think that at running back, you're so stacked at some of these spots, but they don't have anybody with the experience and talent level of Geis, certainly. So I think there is some hope there if you are Syracuse. I'll ask you a little bit about Dino Babers. How is he adjusting now in year two? I'm sure he had a little bit of a honeymoon period. Are expectations raised there for him at Syracuse?
Brent Axe, Syracuse.com columnist, join us right here on Duncan Holder on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Brent, you look at what LSU did last week, and they stunk up the joint in Stark Vegas. I mean, they got pummeled way worse than myself and Jeff ever could have imagined. We assumed they'd go up there and cover, much less win, and it was one of the poorest LSU performances we've seen in some time. What has Syracuse, what have the guys been saying about that game? I'm assuming they're not taking anything for granted. I mean, it's still LSU, but what are they saying about LSU heading into this game?
Brent, how would you describe Faber's offense at Syracuse? I know he came out of that kind of Art Briles tree down at Baylor. Did he have to tweak that a bit because
you mentioned earlier the fact you're playing in the ACC against the Clemsons and Florida States of the world, or is he running a similar system to say what people saw at Baylor?
It is very similar to Baylor. It's a lot of the same concepts. He doesn't quite have all the athletes he needs yet to do it, but it's a breakneck pace. You know, they want to run about 90 plays per game. And, you know, the thing is with this game, guys, Irv Phillips is likely not going to play. I was shocked to get injury news from LSU because, you know, Dino does not reveal injury information up here. He keeps it all close to the vest and, you know, dances around that. And Syracuse only reveals injury information when they have to because there's an ACC injury report. Since this is a non-conference game, you know, they've kept that under a lid. If Irv's not out there, it kind of takes away a safety valve for Dungy in this offense because he wants to get rid of the ball quickly. And if a Steve Ishmael's not open or a Devin Butler's not open or Sean Riley, who had a terrific game last week with 247 all-around yards, isn't open, Irv's the safety valve. And you can get Irv the ball in the slot, and he's one of these guys that can kind of dance and use his speed to get, you know, 5-6 yard chunks and just keep the chains moving. So without him, I am curious to see what adjustments Syracuse makes. And the other thing is, guys, that Eric Dungy will run the football. He's not afraid to take off and run with it. There are called plays for him. But it's been a big topic of discussion up here because Dungy's got an injury history. He's taken a couple of shots. He's got at least 2 concussions that we know about. So going up against a team with LSU that's certainly got a lot more speed than Syracuse has seen so far, I'm very curious to see how they utilize that because without Irv, I think Eric is going to have to take off and run at times, but he's going to have to be smart about it.
Brent Axe, Syracuse.com columnist right here on Dunc and Holder. Brent, do you think there's any mental layover from the last time Syracuse played LSU? And, of course, the Leonard Fournette train was hot and heavy that game. Do you think there's any kind of layover from that, or do they see what they see in front of them of an LSU team that's kind of vulnerable right now?
I don't think there's any layover from that game because, you know, Scott Schaefer was still coaching here then, and Eric Dungy did not play in that game. Zach Mahoney, the backup, was in and actually played pretty decent in that game for a while, and Syracuse made some plays in that game. But like you said, Leonard Fournette, just, wow, one of the great individual performances I've seen up here in Syracuse. So I don't think there's a mental layover from that game in particular. I think it's getting over Death Valley and figuring out how to go there and play in this environment. Dino has never coached there. A lot of these players have certainly not experienced it. And, you know, it's just one of those things that you have to do. You can't get a prep for it. At least, you know, when they play Clemson, they've been to their Death Valley. They have been to Florida State. You know, they've been in some big environments, but they have never been, these players, in something like this in the time that they've all been here. And you know, Dino's coached in some big environments, certainly, but nothing like this. So I think it's not 2 years ago. I think it's how do they adjust to playing in this stadium and this environment and everything we've heard about what it's like to do that.
And I would have to ask about the defense, Brent, because that's something that's obviously a work in progress there. We know that Matt Canada, when he was at Pitt last year, I think put up 76, right, at some point on Syracuse.
That's right.
How's the defense coming along? Obviously, that's an area they've got to improve if they want to be competitive in the ACC.
I would label it a pleasant surprise. Now, again, this is Central Connecticut State, Middle Tennessee State, and Central Michigan that Syracuse has played, but their linebackers are terrific. They have one of the best linebacker trios in the ACC. Paris Bennett, Zaire Franklin, and Jonathan Thomas. Franklin is an NFL-level guy, and Bennett's been terrific this year. Those guys can rush the passer. You'll see them blitz a little bit and go after the quarterback. Their secondary has been shored up. That was a big issue last year. They're missing Antoine Cordy right now, who's one of the best players on the team and unfortunately suffered another injury, so he's out. But Jordan Martin was brought in, 6'3", 205-pound safety from Toledo. He's been terrific. Rodney Williams has been terrific. The thing I have been pleasantly surprised by is the front four, because there was not big names there. This was a defensive line that was inexperienced, that had to step into some big roles. A guy you want to keep an eye on this week is Alton Robinson. He's a transfer that they brought in from the JUCO level over the summer. 6'4", 245, can get off the edge. But, you know, he had to get acclimated here and figure things out. He got moved up on the depth chart this week, and I think you're going to really see a lot of him in this game to try and match the speed of LSU. So it's been a pleasant surprise so far, but this is a much bigger test than anything they've seen so far this season.
Brent Axe from Syracuse.com, columnist, and he's also on ESPN Radio Syracuse. Hey, Brent, appreciate the time, and you coming down to Baton Rouge, I'm assuming?
I'm not, unfortunately. My colleague Nate Mink, his luggage budget is just through the roof.
So you couldn't sneak in there. You couldn't sneak in his bag.
But I will be watching, and I know Nate and those guys are looking forward to coming down there and experiencing all this has to offer. So I know they're looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
There you go, Brent. Follow him on Twitter as well, Brent Axe Media. Hey, Brent, appreciate the insight. Awesome visit, and look, we're sister advance publications. So anytime you need us, I don't know. Jeff loves college basketball. I don't know if LSU is going to be any good at some point. Jeff can come on there and talk. He'd rather talk Louisville, actually. Jeff is a big Louisville honk.
Good to know.
Yes.
Good to know. And yeah, listen, you guys keep up the great work down there. I've really enjoyed reading your stuff this week.
There you go. All right, Brent, appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Brent Axe, Syracuse.com, columnist and ESPN Radio Syracuse. So look,
he's got me thinking now that Syracuse might have a shot.
Whoa!
All of a sudden, Brent seemed very optimistic. I'm not waffling. I think it's going to be a blowout.
All right, you're not waffling. Well, I haven't made my pick yet. We're going to make those picks whether Jeff thinks they're boring or not. We're going to make the picks at 11:30.
Get some coffee in me before we do that segment.
Why don't you go get a Monster? We sell Monsters here. You could shotgun a Monster drink.
That's you. I'm strictly caffeine.
What do you think's in Monster?
Well, I'm strictly non-sugary water.
Just get the no sugar like I get.
No.
No.
I'm strictly on the coffee. By the way, we had the guy from the head of the International Coffee Association in the office yesterday. I was trying to work on some freebies for us.
You got nothing?
Sponsorship, maybe. Duncan Holder sponsorship. Work in progress, sort of like the Syracuse defense.
We see you working.
There you go. Clyde's been working, getting the YouTube live feed right.
I am so hot and sweaty right now. It's bad.
But he's fist pumping because it sounds like he got it right. So there you go. So all right, we'll hear from Drew Brees next segment, I promise, and Juan Kincaid around 11:15. College picks around 11:30. So don't go anywhere. Sports 1280 NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder.
The second annual Wine on the River is Saturday, November 11th at Audubon Aquarium Plaza. Tickets on sale now at wineontheriver.NOLA.com, with proceeds benefiting the Louisiana Hospitality Foundation. Presented by Southern Glazers, WGNO, and NOLA 38.
Everyone does it in the living room, the garage, at the kitchen table. Everyone
I had a nice sleep
your
on my
kid's
Serta
teacher,
mattress.
the
I'm not
neighbor,
doing
the
that.
coffee guy. Hey,
I'm not
you're
doing
doing
that.
it right now.
I'll do
I'm talking about listening
other
to
stuff.
radio.
I'm not doing my own
Radio is
personal.
huge.
If I want to do a Duncan
And radio
Holder,
ads like this connect with
I think that's
93% of Americans a week. That's bigger than TV, Facebook, and Google. So if
Yeah,
you're a
but, I mean,
marketer with
we
radio,
probably
you
need to
reach
run
more
about
who you
Orlando
want.
and see
More
what they
boomers,
think.
more Gen Xers, even more
'Cause, I mean, if
millennials.
we're gonna
So
do
get
a
to
personal-
iHeartMedia.com.
we can't do it on our
One
personal.
place
There's no
everyone
way.
is. AM, FM radio.
Our
Come
Facebook
on,
page.
everyone's doing it.
At Lowe's, we know pros appreciate a promise kept, a challenge
Right, but I
met, a
think the
job
difference
well
would be-
done. And just as important, we know pros appreciate saving money. So now during Lowe's Pro Appreciation event, pro customers can save up to 10% on select interior and entry
draw the line.
doors,
We'll say,
molding,
yeah,
and
we'll
lock
do it.
sets
We'll
when they
read it.
buy online. So
do
shop
red
Lowe'sForPros.com now
endorsements.
and save up to
Wow,
10%,
that's
which is
so
something a
absurd.
pro
I'm
can
not gonna
really
do that.
appreciate.
That's
Offer valid
stupid.
online only from 9/18 through 9/24.
I'm out.
Selection varies
Throw the
by
line.
store,
I'm
U.S.
out.
only.
Done.
Download the
Larry's
McDonald's
gonna be-
app and get a drink with any purchase every week.
Larry wants a freaking mattress. I don't need a new mattress, but I actually do need a mattress. I'll take
Same here.
I'll
Same
take
here.
money and a mattress.
McDonald's.com/app for details.
Same here.
McDonald's. I'm loving it.
If you're over 50,
Yeah,
listen
I need,
carefully.
yeah, like,
Do you
we're in
have
the process
trouble
of looking for
remembering
any
names,
mattress.
where you put your keys,
Like, you
or
could have
where you
two.
parked your car? Even simple facts that you should remember but just
Yes,
can't?
you do.
By age
You
50,
gotta be-
the average
Well,
person has
I'm just
lost
playing
half
Brees.
of their
Back if
short-term
you gotta do
memory, and it only gets
Ooh,
worse.
ooh, ooh.
Don't ignore the
much.
warning
Sorry.
signs of age-related memory loss. Now you can think faster and remember more with Cebria, the best-selling non-prescription memory formula supported by 20 years of memory research. A scientific study shows that Cebria can improve your memory in just 30 days. Just call 1-800-990-7211 to get started. All callers today receive a free 30-day supply of Cebria, so you can start improving your short-term memory right away. Get
15 seconds.
Call 1-800-990-7211 or order online at freememoryoffer.com. 1 free month per household.
All right, we're going to run Brees here.
Call 1-800-990.
Sure. Okay.
.com.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back to the show. Let's hear from Drew Brees. He spoke to the media yesterday, as he does each and every Wednesday in the football season, or Thursday if they have a Monday game or whatever. But he had his regular weekly media appearance. And Drew Brees, of course, being asked about the offense, what's the progression, being asked about the Carolina defense, being asked about Luke Kuechly, and a message to the fans. We'll hear all of that coming up here in a second. Dave, why don't we get started, because the offense has been an issue for the Saints. There's no question about it. Only put up 19 points, only put up 20 points. And 2 of those touchdowns occurred in the fourth quarter when the game was already out of reach. So let's hear from Drew Brees trying to get back to being a good offense again.
Well, I think execution. I think overall we've put together some good drives. I think the drives that have stalled on us in large part have been because of penalty. There are times where we just haven't had a chance to get a drive going, and in some cases have been stopped. It's been because of penalty. I think in other cases, again, we're putting together drives, and then we're just, not getting some of those touchdowns when I think the opportunities are there to get them. And, when you play in close games, those are the difference makers.
Penalties, certainly some drive killers. There's no doubt about that. I know offensive line specifically. The top 3 most penalized players on the team right now, they all have 2 penalties. One is Vaccaro. 2 of them are offensive linemen, Andres Pete and Larry Warford. One of Warford's was declined, but certainly penalties up front. And it's not like the Saints' offense has been incredible. They can't absorb that right now.
Yeah, they can't overcome it. Sean Payton talks about that. I think they do a lot of analytical research on drives when there's an offensive penalty that occurs, and the success rate scoring at the end of one of those drives drops dramatically. It's really down low, and the Saints aren't quite the big play explosive offense they used to be. So when they're in 1st and 20, when they're behind the chains, they really struggle to overcome it. And that's what's going to happen when you're moving these guys around. I think they really resisted that. They didn't want to move too many people, and these penalties, they've got to overcome that.
Absolutely. Now let's hear what Drew Brees had to say about the Carolina defense that's been playing very well these first 2 games.
They look very good. Yeah. They look very good. Extremely disciplined. They got a great front 7. And that have been together for a long time now. Obviously, those linebackers, and then they rotate that D line in and out. They got some really good pass rushers and run defenders. They got the young corners that are now into their second years and playing with a lot more confidence. I think the safeties are very good players as well. So all in all, it's a very sound defense that just plays really well together.
Pepper's found the fountain of youth or something all of a sudden.
Yeah. Listen, he's got a role that he plays very, very well. You still see him, getting after the quarterback in the pass rush. He's a big, powerful guy.
Peppers has 2.5 sacks, and he didn't practice yesterday because, as Joe Person yesterday on the show alluded to, he gets rest, and they just have him ready for game day, and his job is to go after the quarterback. And he's back, reunion tour, and he's been playing well. They got K'Wan Short, who, of course, is one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Luke Kuechly's back. Thomas Davis is still there. Their front 7 seems more solidified than it has been, maybe especially last year, as it kind of took a little bit of a dip.
Well, and I think they are one of the oldest defenses in the league. When I looked at that list, I think they might have been 2nd or 3rd at most experienced defenses. Really, the youngest people are the corners. Bradbury, I forget the other corner's name, but they are a unit that Drew Brees knows well. They do the same things. They just do it very well. They don't try to fool you. You know what they're going to play, but they come right after you and play a lot of zone They don't give up anything cheap, and they get after you with their front seven. They try to eliminate the run. So the Saints, I think, are going to try to establish the run in this game. They haven't had that chance lately because they've gotten behind so quickly. I think it's going to be imperative for them to get some kind of running game going so they can work their play-action passing game.
Now, 0-2 as a whole, bad enough. 0-3 is near insurmountable. Here's Drew Brees on the importance of not going 0-3.
Listen, we're doing our absolute best in regards to preparation to try to win the game during the week.
We got about 3 minutes left.
Then you feel like the result will take care of itself. It's a divisional opponent. It's on the road. It's a very good team. It's a team that's 2-0. That's playing with a lot of confidence. But we're just waiting to break the seal, and I feel like it can be this week. I hope it's this week.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard Drew Brees say we're waiting to break the seal.
That's one of his.
It's years.
That's one of his little pet phrases.
But he said it so many times because they started over for the last 4 years. So we've heard it so many times. Let's hear from Drew Brees on trying to get the offense back in rhythm.
Listen, we've missed a couple things just by a very small margin. But listen, it's a small margin for error in this business. I think the more time we have together, the better we get. I can't blame anything that happened in the last game because of a lack of time on task or anything like that. I think we just had a couple that were just right there, just wasn't able to make the play. However that was.
And let's hear one more from Drew Brees. We're going to save the juicy one for the top of the 11 o'clock hour. Let's hear what Drew Brees has to say about matching wits once again with stud linebacker Luke Kuechly.
He's just a very smart football player. He's a very smart football player who can key and diagnose very, very quickly. He can anticipate a lot of what's happening, and rarely do you get him on something twice. You might game plan something and you get him the first time, and then you feel like you can go run it again. And he's right where you're going to be running the ball or throwing the ball or whatever it might be. So he's just an extremely intelligent football player. He's a great leader. He's gets everybody. You see him just directing traffic all the time. Getting guys lined up. At times changing the call to put his defense in a better position, just like the quarterback would. He is definitely the quarterback of the defense.
And with Drew, he knows he's going to be having a battle of wits with Luke Kuechly. He left last year's game, remember, that tearful exit. Wasn't he on a cart?
Yes.
And A.J. Klein came in and replaced him.
That was the Saints game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, concussion protocol. And look, Kuechly is the definition of a three-down linebacker in this league. He's what everybody wants to have. There are just very few of them out there.
Absolutely. So hour number 1 is up. Hour number 2 is on the way. I got one more Drew Brees soundbite for you.
30
and
seconds.
It's interesting. The tone, the short answer, and it's to Jeff's question of a message to the fans who pay their hard-earned money, once again, having to deal with a team that's gone 0-2. We'll talk about that. Top of the 11 o'clock hour, around 11:15, we'll have Juan Kincaid. Around 11:30, our college picks. So come on back. Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
The mortgage crisis may not have the attention.
That's how you tease.
But many people.
All right, you got 5-6 minutes, so go tinkle.
Tinkle, tinkle, tea.
Let Operation Hope offer HUD.
Jeff already did. That's why he ran in a panic.
Own modification, or take other steps to avoid.
Just get one of those sneaky leakers,
888-3.
You remember those things?
That's 888-388.
No, I don't. What is that?
Sneaky leakers were something like you would go to like an outdoor concert, and basically it was like a tube that ran down your leg.
Oh,
and
a sneaky leaker?
Yeah, sneaky leaker.
Of course. I've never heard of that in my life.
How have you not heard of a sneaky leaker?
That's LSU glory, a sneaky leaker. You combine the floppy flask and the sneaky leaker. The floppy flask is like a waistband thing that goes under your shorts, and it can hold a fifth of booze. And the spigot is right by your zipper, so when you're in the stands or you go somewhere, it looks like you're peeing in your cup, but it's bourbon or vodka or whatever. So, yeah, the floppy flask and the sneaky leaker.
I guess they don't have that kind of stuff in Louisville.
Obviously not.
Boxing, undefeated light heavyweight.
We had a little more coof.
LSU ingenuity.
Bunch of Quakers.
Says the training and preparation has been a little tougher
Puritan, Shakertown.
Puritan.
You're welcome for that.
You're a pilgrim.
Happy got to hear all
has won all
I got no
32
problem
of
talking
his
about that on
fights,
the air.
16 by knockout. Champ also won Olympic gold.
See, this is only for the YouTube audience.
Exactly.
Kicks
Now
off
we
tonight
got
in
we got to
Santa
give them
Clara,
extra
California,
juice since it's been
8:25
out for a
Eastern.
couple
The
days.
0-2 49ers host the 1-1 Rams. This weekend, the Vikings host the Buccaneers. Sam Bradford will be
The sneaky leaker. I got to find a commercial for that.
a little bit yesterday and plans to give it a go again. His knee still a little
Jeff,
questionable. Meanwhile, multiple reports say a contract extension for Commissioner Roger Goodell is all but finalized and should be announced in the next few days. I'm Deb Carson.
What are you talking about? I'm seriously, I don't think we can even do that. I think that was spelled out in the
Alligator Festival.
Remember that early thing we had?
September 22nd.
It was like a
music, rides,
contract that's spelled out in there. What our
and live alligators. The alligator
what our
Festival is fun for the
endorsements
whole
are.
family with music from the best bands around, like Category 6, Amanda Shaw.
All right, we got 4 minutes, guys.
I'd sing a few lines by
Move along, sir.
Bring the whole family to the Alligator Festival. Baby Alligators, the Arts and Crafts Mall, Cajun Cuisine, Carnival rides and live music, all for just $1. Visit alligatorfestival.org. The Alligator Festival.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in those dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. And it's about to get worse. The IRS just hired an army of new tax enforcers. So, if you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop that army of new enforcers from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $500 million of tax debt to their clients. Get your life back. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-798-2477. That's 800-798-2477. 800-798-2477.
Yeah, that's relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Our sold-out 2017 iHeartRadio Music Festival hosted by Ryan Seacrest. iHeartRadio. Tonight, one stage. This weekend at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas.
Watch it live on CWTV.com or the CW app at 9 p.m. tomorrow and Saturday. And for the first time ever, watch our Daytime Village starting at 1 p.m. Saturday.
Capital One is the proud marquee partner of the iHeartRadio Music Festival. For more information on Capital One products and services, please visit CapitalOne.com today.
I had like memory foams, I had feather pillows, and I'd always wake up with neck pain. After sleeping on my pillow, I didn't wake up with the headaches, I was more aligned.
I didn't realize the connection between the pillow and sleep. When I switched to my pillow, I got a better night's sleep, and I loved it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it holds that support all night long to take the pressure off your shoulders and keep your neck aligned so you get the best night's sleep of your life.
My Pillow is machine washable and dryable and comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and an amazing 10-year warranty. Plus, every My Pillow is made in the USA.
I personally guarantee that My Pillow will be the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
My Pillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special.
330,
plus
that
free
would
shipping.
be
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-480-1941
right at the beginning.
and use promo code iHeart.
You know,
That's
come on.
50% off plus
That's what I mean.
free
So that would
shipping.
be
Don't delay.
the first
Order
hour.
now.
Never give in. Never give in.
over there.
Never. In nothing, great or small.
What do you want to do?
Never give in.
Yeah, I think 420 would be perfect. I think getting me on right away to say, here's what happened today.
Immortal words stirred an entire country.
I'll see if I can laugh.
Days of certain defeat. Today, these words give each of us the courage to reach for our own victories.
Never give in.
You could
never give in. Never.
Commitment. Pass it on. from a foundation for a better life at values.com.
Panthers 20.6.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Steps out of the foreclosure process. I'm John Hope Bryant, the founder and CEO of Operation.
All right, Clyde, you got games ready?
Yep.
All right, we'll do that.
We're doing games?
No, not yet. 11:30.
No,
I need to get some coffee in me.
I'm good. Ready to go. Red.
Let me wake up. Let me
go to our Mortgage Hope Crisis hotline online.
Let me wake myself up.
I do like how much I heard that.
Dave, what do you think of that segment? How boring is that segment?
Well,
Thank
it
you.
depends. I mean, it's always kind of rushed, though.
Right, we can't rush it.
I mean, like if you rush it, well, then it doesn't sound so good. Give it one more shot, otherwise, then we'll say you're fired.
Seems boring to me.
Dunc and Holder, hour number 2. You missed any of the show, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, iTunes, NOLA.com, SoundCloud, and thankfully for Clyde, YouTube, our NOLA.com YouTube page is back up and running because when Clyde goes away, technology is not here to stay. You like how I made that rhyme, Jeff? Whew, boy, that is years of journalism right there.
Amazing you write for a living. That's unreal.
A little alliteration.
Should I do a YouTube haiku? Should I do that?
Here's one for
575, is that what a haiku is?
Here's one for you. Today on the conference call with local media, Sean Payton says one of the reasons they've struggled on defense is that they've missed on a number of players in the draft.
Stunning.
Breaking news.
Oh, I can't believe it. They've missed.
It only took 12 years to admit this.
They've missed on a guy? Or
I had no idea.
Or 7 or 20?
Stanley Jean-Baptiste wasn't a miss.
That wasn't a miss.
He was like you never even got in the batter's box. I mean, you stay in the dugout. Disaster.
Wow.
Disaster.
Sounds like Sean is coming around a little bit. A little truth serum.
What else can he do at this point, honestly?
I think it's pretty apparent they are trying to be as forthcoming as they can because they need allies right now.
Because they know it's swirling down the toilet right now.
No question. This is what happens when you are backed into a corner a little bit. You need public sentiment on your side.
Let me ask you. London, they're not like Australia where the toilets go backwards, right?
No, it's not, man. Come on, dude.
What's the Josh Ennis show?
Yeah, right?
I'm just saying, if they go 0-4 in London, they could just jump down the toilet and go back down to the Southern Hemisphere. It's over.
I have a feeling that Jeff's going to make us popular in London when he goes up there for the week, and we're going to have London people listening on the iHeart app.
I
bet you they
Amos Morale is trying right now to get some graft to give out to the fans over there. Don't we have some footballs, NOLA.com footballs?
Yes.
We need something to give out so we spread our love across the pond.
Why don't you talk about the event that we're going to be having? Might as well.
Yeah, so if you're listening out there and you are going to the Saints-Dolphins game in London, a week from tonight, we will have a Saints fan, NFL fan meetup, media roundtable, Q&A roundtable with the media that covers the Saints. And we're going to have Adam Beasley from the Miami Herald as well.
Geez.
Jim Henderson, the legendary play-by-play voice of the Saints, will be at this event, along with Juan Kincaid, who we're going to talk to in a little while, and myself, Josh Katzenstein. And it's a chance to meet fans and kind of have a little social gathering, and then we'll do a Q&A session with fans about the game and about the event, and hopefully we'll get somebody from the London media as well. That's what I'm working on right now. So we can get their perspective on the game. Should be a really fun time.
That's awesome. Where can they find info for this?
It'll be on NOLA.com. Actually, later today, we're going to do a post about it. It's at the Dugout in London Bridge. So if you know where London Bridge is in downtown London, there's a sports bar there called Belushi's, and this is Belushi's The Dugout. And we're going to have a private room, and we're trying to get some microphones. That's one of the things that we're working on right now. But I don't think we're going to need it. The room holds about 75. We're hoping that we can fill that room.
Just scream out. Who cares? But it should be an awesome time. I mean, that's what we do here. We make it an event.
Jealous.
And look, I should say this. Even if you're not over there, we're going to have that broadcast on YouTube Live, and that'll be at 1 o'clock next Thursday. Just about this time next Thursday, you'll be able to watch it.
So right after Dunc and Holder, you can crank it up, stay on the YouTube Live section of NOLA.com, and you'll be able to watch it. So that'll be awesome to hear. Now, Jeff, yesterday you posed an interesting question to Drew Brees about said fans who are paying their hard-earned money to go to games, who are paying their hard-earned money to go to London to watch a team that, who knows, are they going to be 0-3? Are they going to be 1-2? But that's been the story for the last few years. And, Jeff, we heard Drew Brees' comment, one of his staple lines, we're about to break the seal. Well, we've heard that at the beginning of 5 of the last 6 years, literally. We've heard him say that. And Jeff asked if Drew had a message to the fans. Let's hear what Drew had to say.
Hang in there. I mean, listen, we believe. We believe in ourselves, and I hope that our fans believe in us too. I believe they do. Everything that I've heard from people has been very positive.
Everything I've heard from them has been very positive.
Well, of course, that's what fans are going to say to Drew Brees. They're going to be positive. No one's going to walk up to him and say, "You guys stink." That doesn't happen.
No, they would not.
But he's not reading my Twitter timeline or my email inbox or listening to our show.
Or mine or NOLA.com comment section. And some people think we're harsh. Some people think we're not harsh enough.
Oh, I know. One of my editors said we were too soft. Actually, me, not you. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. So I think that's not surprising from Drew Brees, though. We know that that's the way he is. I mean, he's always Mr. Positive, annoyingly optimistic, as Scott Fujita would say. But he knows that all eyes are on him. I did a story about this earlier this year. He knows he has to be a wellspring of optimism because everyone's looking to him. If he starts getting down, these young players on the team that look to him for leadership are going to get down as well.
I've had someone who works in the sports industry, I'll just leave it at that, who emailed me and saying that they feel like Sean Payton, after these last 2 games in his press conferences, almost looks defeated and looks like a guy who might see the end is near. Is that something you read into that, or is it just after tough losses where you're wondering what's going on, or do you think it's a cumulative effect? What do you think?
I haven't seen that, to be honest with you, but I would say that 0-2 and looking at this next 4-game stretch, I could easily see where he sees the writing on the wall because I don't know where the victories are going to come from with the injuries that they've got, where they're playing these teams. Larry, I mean, do you think – I think it's quite possible they'll be underdogs in every one of these games. If Miami wins, which they should win this week, they're going to go over there 2-0. The Saints could be at best 1-2. We know they're underdogs this week at Carolina. I think they'll be underdogs to Miami. And then I think coming back home, Detroit, the way they're playing, they could be favored in that game. Not by a lot, but I think they could be favored. And you know they'll be underdogs at Green Bay. So we're talking about 6 games where they're decided or underdogs. If they, like I said, if they can go 2-4, I think they should feel good about themselves.
I think we underestimated, the first part of the schedule where it's like, the first 4 games, we should have included the first 6 games because Detroit was a playoff team last year. They look better now than they did then.
Agreed.
And even though Green Bay got the snot kicked out of them in Atlanta, they're still one of the best teams in the NFC.
And I think New Orleans, and I realize this is historical, but historically I think the Saints are 2-12 all time at Lambeau. I mean, they've never played well up there, and Green Bay's almost unbeatable at home. So I don't see them going up there and beating Aaron Rodgers and that passing attack. That's the weakness right now. The problem is the Saints are trying to tread water because their secondary is so young and riddled with injuries, and they're playing all the best passing attacks early in the season.
And I'm curious to see if Marshawn Lattimore is going to play. Again, if you've missed practice yesterday, he's in the concussion protocol. Sterling Moore sounds like he's out for a little while, and that would put you down to P.J. Williams, Devontae Harris, and Ken Crawley. Cam Newton, do you want to improve the way you're looking throwing the football? This would be the week. And, by the way, week 1, Sam Bradford, NFC Player of the Week. Week 2, Tom Brady, AFC Player of the Week. See a trend? I think we all do.
Yeah, and I think this week could be the Saints' best chance to get that victory, just because I think Carolina, Look, they're 2-0. They haven't played anybody yet so far. I think they could be a little overconfident. And Cam Newton's still working his way back from injury. Joe Person told us that the other day. He has not been that accurate. He's never been that accurate. He holds the ball longer than any quarterback in the league. So we'll see what the Saints pass rush is made of this week. Unlike Bradford and Brady, who get the ball out quick, Cam Newton holds on to the ball forever, and he's got a rebuilt offensive line, and they've had offensive line issues in the past. So I think this is an opportunity for the Saints' defensive line to get after Carolina and maybe get some sacks finally.
And they have no Greg Olsen. That's huge.
Huge.
Greg Olsen will be out for this game.
He's the security, the safety valve for Cam Newton. Always has been.
And he might have done just as much damage as Gronk did last week. And we've seen tight ends. Good tight ends really have a field day against the Saints defense. Let's take a break right here. Coming up next, Juan Kincaid from WVUE TV Fox 8. Sports director over there, and we will talk with him about Saints, and if Clyde wants to slip in a soccer question, I don't know. We're not letting that happen. Clyde's going to have his moment to shine in the next segment.
Unbelievable.
When we do college picks. So Juan Kincaid coming up next here, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder. Can you send him Juan's number?
That's it.
Action packed.
He's at the 5, comes back in. He's in the end zone. Alcalon, he's got it in the end zone.
I'm glad you're swigging, water instead of supersized
This is Tulane football this Saturday. Tulane returns home to
well,
take
you will be.
on
You're right. Okay. We'll talk about how we can attack next week too.
Sports 1280, New Orleans.
If you need a payday loan fast, try LendUp.com. Apply in minutes on your phone or computer, and you could have cash in your account fast. LendUp.com, the better payday loan. LendUp.com, subject to availability in your state. LendUp is a licensed credit services organization, not a direct lender, in Ohio and Texas.
This weekend, our sold-out iHeartRadio Music Festival featuring over 20 of the world's biggest artists is coming to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Big Sean will play his second show of the day on Saturday after help.
All right, we got one.
At the Global Citizen Festival, 2,000
Got about a minute.
City.
Sounds
Find
good.
out how you can help fight poverty at globalcitizen.org. Experience our festival live on CWTV.com or the CW app, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow and Saturday. And for the first time ever, watch our Daytime Village, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, Saturday.
Kohl's Fall Style event is going on now. Stop in and see the smart new look of Apartment 9 for men and women. Now 25 to 50% off. Apartment 9 is smart style designed for 9 to 9. Plus, take an extra 20% off when you spend $100 or more, or an extra 15% off when you spend under $100. You'll get Kohl's Cash too, right now at Kohl's. Select styles. Offer valid September 14th through 24th with promo code FASHION. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
The Home Depot is pouring more into paint and putting more money into the pockets of pros with top quality paints without the paint store price. Like Glidden paints. Glidden lasts longer, covers better, and costs less at the Home Depot. Nobody beats our prices, guaranteed.
10 seconds.
Paint with Glidden. Paints that get the job.
Yep.
Cool. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us for the first time. I feel like this is long overdue.
Yeah, that's actually my fault.
You blew it, Jeff. Way to go.
I thought we'd already had one on, and then he called me out, rightfully so, and said, "Hey, what's the deal? How far down the list am I?"
What's the deal?
And chagrined, said we need to get him on ASAP.
And we did. Juan Kincaid, sports director of WVUE TV Fox 8, joining us right here on the show for Jeff's error. Juan, I wholeheartedly apologize. It's all Jeff's fault.
I think I should call Jeff out again because he couldn't even make it to the media football game the other day. It's disappointing. Must have been an age thing.
Oh no, it was an ACL thing.
ACL. No, you run every day of your life, dude. Every day.
Can't cut.
You can't cut. Just run straight.
To be honest, a man of his age, ACL injuries are common. So it's okay.
You're going to talk trash to me? All right, I'm out. Next year, I'm playing in this thing. Only reason I didn't play anybody, even your surgically repaired legs, Juan. I probably couldn't even defend you if you cut side to side. But also didn't want to get hurt before I go to London. I just didn't want to take that chance. I didn't want to be on crutches across the pond. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I understand that. I do understand that. But I was praying I didn't get cut. You didn't get hurt before heading to London. You're right.
Well, Juan, next year for that media game, we need to have a draft. We can't have the sides are going in we're going to get crushed. Of course, it's the same group of guys, and we even tried to get some new guys. No, we had no chance.
What kind of defeatist attitude is this?
I even said it on the radio. You were like, the point spread was 8.5 points. I was like, I hope you mean 8.5 touchdowns. The fact we would have covered that, not 8.5 points. I speak like it is, Juan. As many times as I've been on TV with you, I speak it like it is, and I knew we were going to stink. I knew it.
Well, I will say this: you guys, it was a better team this year than 2 years ago at the Greenbrier when it was 70-0. And I thought, Evan and those guys playing from the Saints with you guys is actually a better team. But you guys got away from your game plan and was tied 7-all. I just started throwing bombs, and that wasn't going to work out. So,
no, not on Kincaid Island.
Game plan, but it was fun though.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, I want to thank the Saints. I mean, they made it right for us. It was pretty fun. Absolutely. Well, Juan, speaking of the Saints, look, we've seen this rodeo many, many years at this point. 0-2 going into Carolina now, 0-3. And do you think there's an end in sight for these losing ways?
No, I don't think they make the playoff team. Well, you know what? Let me change that. I said at the beginning they would be 10-6, and I'm going to stick by that. But obviously this game, number 3 at Carolina, will be the tell-all. If they can't win in Carolina, then all of a sudden you're back in the same spot you have been the last couple of years. You're still trying to get back to 500. The fight is real, and I just think there's too many holes in this football team. You got an offense that has lost its way, can't score points like it used to, really misses Willie Snead, and the Brandon Cooks trade, now that's coming back to haunt them a little bit more. Drew Brees, as much as he tries to put the happy face on everything, and we know Drew is the biggest believer in this football team than anybody, I think he has to see the writing on the wall as well, which is why I think this is his last year here in New Orleans, whether they make the playoffs or not. It's just there's a lot for this team to overcome right now, and it's frustrating, man. It gets frustrating talking about it every year because they start the same way every year. We don't want to hold out hope, and Brees is telling the fans to keep the faith, but it's hard to ask them to do something when the players themselves haven't given them a reason to keep the faith in the last 4 years.
That's a great point, Juan, and that's actually going to be the subject of my column. Little tease here. My column this weekend is the fans have been very patient. They've been extremely loyal in this market, and I think you have to consider also that this same ownership group also owns the Pelicans, and they've had similar frustrations on that side of the building. And I think people are just fed up because they've been patient and they've been loyal and they've had no return on their investment.
Well, I think in the Pelicans, you're starting to see them make some moves that can get this team back in the playoffs this season. They kind of realize, and maybe that's because you have a GM in Del Demps who, if it doesn't happen for him this year, he may be out the door. And I'd be surprised if he's kept around any longer than this year. Same goes with the head coach, Alvin Gentry, as well. But on the Saints side of things, it all goes back to management to me. I mean, this is a team that, look at the Stephon Anthony trade. If you're trading a guy away after 2 years, when you draft him with the first-round pick, didn't you see his flaws on tape? The tape doesn't lie. Why are you picking a guy that high that can't do everything you want him to do and step in and play right away? He was great his rookie year, but he wasn't good enough to start his second year, and the guy you bring in his place, James Laurinaitis, no longer with the team after a few weeks. I mean, there's so many mistakes by this front office year after year, trying to cover themselves up, bad contracts, dead money. I don't see any end in sight with this football team. It's just mismanaged from the top down. And what bothers me is that you have an owner in Tom Benson, and we're told all the time, yeah, he's in the building, he's working, but I wonder how much he is actually paying attention to how bad this football team is playing and how mismanaged this football team seems to be by the people he trusts the most.
Well, I think he sees it on Sunday. He might not see it all Monday through Friday, but he's involved in the game, watching the game. He sees, and well, that's the thing. He trusts what goes on, and when he sees the product on the field, he's got to be at a point. And let's be honest, he's 90 years old. He wants to see them win immediately. There's no such thing as let's rebuild. We've got to win. He wants to win now.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. I mean, I hope they don't let Drew Brees go next year, because we see so many teams around the league how much they struggle because they don't have a decent quarterback. Brees is still an elite quarterback, but didn't have a lot of talent around him right now. And so I just think that as long as Tom Benson is living and wanting to win, that Brees will stay here. But how much will he want to be here? You know, when he looks around him and sees mediocre talent, I mean, Michael Thomas is exceptional, but who else in this offense is exceptional besides him? When you see mediocre talent outside of Brees and Thomas, why would Brees want to stay here another year when he is in the twilight of his career? He's got a Peyton Manning situation where he can probably go to 15 different teams that are structurally built better on both sides of the ball than the Saints are and get one more ring. Listen, no one should complain about Drew Brees if he decides to leave, because he brought this team a championship that most people never thought they would ever see in their lifetime. He brought it to them, and it's been a long time since then, though, but he's done what they wanted him to do here. So that's why I just think that it won't be the Saints getting rid of him. It will be him saying, you know what, my time is done here. And it may happen to Sean Payton as well eventually as well. He says, you know what, I've done what the city wanted. It's time to bring in a new voice. It's time for me to move on and be someone else's new voice.
Well, here's the question I have, Juan, is, okay, say hypothetically this season doesn't pan out and there is changes. Should the fan base have any kind of confidence? Tom Benson trusts him implicitly to rebuild this. So where's the faith that the fan base should have that they will get it right, that they're going to get somebody in the building better than Sean Payton and rebuild around a quarterback? We don't even know who that is if Drew Brees leaves. I mean, certainly not going to be anybody on the roster now. And you've already had all these 7 and 9 seasons that have piled up. I think it's a real crossroads for the entire organization right now, and I'm not sure, like you said, there's any end in sight to it. I think it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, there's no real quick fix for this football team. There's no easy answers either. I mean, I think you're right, because Mr. Benson is the age that he is. His health is not the best as it's been, and you know, when you get to be a certain age, you want to surround yourself with people that you trust the most, and Mickey Loomis and Dennis Lauscha and Sean Payton. Those are the guys he's, you know, been with the longest, and he trusts them to have his best interest. So I think you're right. Mickey's not going anywhere. I do think Mickey is a good money man. I think where this team has failed itself is they just don't evaluate players as well as they should. You know, they give the money to the wrong players. But I think where the fans can get back on board is if they go out and change. If Peyton's gone, the entire coaching staff is gone, I think. And that would tell the fans that, look, we're trying to make this team better. And it begins with getting rid of what's here now and replacing it with fresh ideas from a new head coach and his new entirely new staff. That would at least show the fan base that, hey, we're trying over here. We're not just sitting back and saying it's all going to be okay. Eventually it's going to work out. We're trying to make some moves here. That's where it starts. And if you still have problems, then you have to address the whole thing with Mickey Loomis. But again, I just don't think Mickey's going anywhere till Mr. Benson passes away, and then some decisions are made by Miss Gail Benson.
Juan Kincaid, Fox 8 sports director here on Dunc and Holder. One more, and we'll let you run. This weekend at Carolina, not been the easiest place for the Saints to play. They've had some grinded-out wins, and look, I don't know if Carolina, you can totally buy into them. I mean, they beat up on San Francisco, and they barely got past up in Charlotte.
I think their chances are very good. And I'll tell you why. Two guys are going to come back to haunt the Saints, haunt the Panthers. Losing Greg Olsen and then Ted Ginn Jr. is going to have a huge day. Because you look at the past between these two teams, those are the two players that have just dominated the Saints up there in Carolina. Ginn Jr. catching deep balls wherever he's been against the Saints, and then Greg Olsen's always there to bail out Cam Newton on the 3rd and long to get a first down against the Saints defense because nobody can cover him. I think them not having Olsen is a huge deal. Now, I think it's going to be a close game, a field goal game. I think the Saints get a win because no one's expecting them, first off, to go up there and win a football game. They're probably a touchdown underdog, I'm guessing. But, you know, without them having Olsen and with Cam coming off of shoulder surgery and not looking himself last week, only 9 points off 3 field goals, I think they're primed to get a defeat up there. And I think the Saints, I think it's their turn this time. But if they go to London 0-3, they'll come back 0-4.
Hot takes from Juan.
It's not really that hot. It's totally
hot.
It's totally believable. It's totally believable.
Well, because I thought they would beat Miami in London, and I thought they would. I also said that they would win the game in Minnesota, but right now I'm only half wrong.
There you go. I will say this, just and we're going to let you run, Juan, but Joe Person from the Charlotte Observer just tweeting about Cam Newton didn't throw during the open portion of practice, and Ryan Khalil, their center, is out again with a neck injury, so that could be something interesting to watch going forward. So, hey, Juan, appreciate the time, and if it goes by like 2 more months and you're not on the show, you're free to go after Jeff's ACL-less knees. Feel free at any point in time. Always blame him.
I appreciate the permission. I'll keep that in mind.
There you go, Juan. All right,
we'll
buddy.
see you in London, all right?
Yeah, thanks, Juan.
Good
see you over there, buddy.
Yeah, Juan Kincaid, WVUE TV, Fox 8's sports director. And he had some pretty harsh and frank words, and not like I could disagree with him. Now I could disagree with them saying they could still go 10-6. I would never have bought that, Jeff.
I'm still on board with that.
You can
They're
have
going to start 2-4, and they're going to get it back together and go on a big run the second half of the season.
I'll feel free to admit every wrongdoing ever if that's the case. No question.
And will you all erect a statue in my honor when that happens?
If they go 10-6, I will shave my head on the show.
Okay.
Wow.
You heard it.
Speaking of hot takes.
You heard it.
It's not a hot take.
I'm cutting that today.
That's how much I feel like that this is not going to work.
We're going to do that, by the way,
10-6?
at the R Bar on the Monday night haircut night. We'll do it there.
No question. Will YouTube Live it?
Yes.
Book it.
Yes. All right. That's in the books.
Well, we'll never be there because they'll never get to 10-6. So there you go.
We'll see. I think it's going to happen.
No
I
chance.
feel like they're going to rally with all these reinforcements coming in.
All the Saints are going to hear this, and so they're like, we've got to get Holder's head shaved. Absolutely have to do it. That's their inspiration. If that's their inspiration, they need to find a new job.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think they've got more inspiration than that.
I don't know if they do.
Because they're all going to be gone if they don't rally soon. It'll be a big turnover out on Airline Drive.
Exactly. So let's take a break right here. Clyde's Time to Shine coming up next. College picks. Today. Jeff, wake up. Go get your coffee. You think this segment sucks? It doesn't. It's going to be okay, Jeff. College picks, and we're going to pick tonight's NFL game, so get that one fired up too, Jeffrey. So here we go. Coming back, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Jeez, Jeff, I'm giving you a hard time today. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm used to it.
Now's your time to ridicule me. Coming up next here on Dunc and Holder. That song brings back so many bad memories.
Are you making out
This
with girls
report is
in the
brought to you
car?
by Foundation for a Better Life.
My wife bought like a dancing skeleton, Halloween skeleton from Walgreens for Brady once.
Could see some heavy
And you
downpours.
press the button,
Not
and
everybody
that's
gets
the
the
song
rain,
it
but
danced
it
to.
will
So
be
it was
warm
over
with a high
and
today
over
near 90. Now
and
tonight,
over
any rain ends with lows in the
It's like
low to
the Billy
mid-70s,
Bass,
and to
like
wrap
this-
up the work week
the
into the weekend.
Hey, we got a Josh in Sacramento.
High near 90 with overnight low.
It's funny. He's tried to call in a few times. Like he'll call me like around like 1:30. Like, hey, you're Dunc and Holder on because he's all the way over there in California. So he's always like an hour or 2 hours late for your show.
All right, how about this? We'll take his call. Let's go to break, and then just leave it the last segment long, so we can do the picks. Would that be cool?
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do it. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
because the next break is pretty short too. We only have a minute and a half left in this break, and the next break is only like 2 minutes long as well.
All right, so we'll do this, go to break, and then we'll just
way too
do
much
the rest
money
of the
on a
show with
mattress.
picks. So
Hi,
Jeff can
my
have his
name-
long segment, and we can keep him
Co-founders
away.
of Casper.
Here's the picks. Okay.
Created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores. And we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than
Another
3
terrorist
years,
attack.
we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress.
Today?
Another one today?
Let me see.
20,000
I just saw
reviews
something on
with an
our
average
homepage.
of 4.8 stars.
Maybe it's an old
Try
one,
us out
so
today.
See for yourself why
Don't
an
hold me to that.
independent
It might be
research
old.
study showed Casper mattress owners are 3 times as likely to say they get great sleep. Simply go to Casper.com and use code CHORUS to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code
Yeah, I think that was
CHORUS
old.
at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
Last year, corporate data breaches were up
30 seconds.
Now they're increasing at a record pace. So what can you do about it? Well, you can take a wait-and-see approach Or you can take action now with Experian by getting a free dark web scan to see if your
tomorrow you
email
wanna
is on the dark web. Because that's where data gets bought and sold after a data breach occurs. Go to Experian.com/scan to get started.
All right, coming back.
In a minute, and it's totally free. That's Experian.com/scan.
Your home for Cakes Baseball. Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back, Dunc and Holder. On a Thursday. I lied again.
You're a liar.
All I do is lie. Not about me shaving my head if they go 10-6. I got no problem doing that. Because I'm not getting another haircut till then. You know that. You know me. I will have a mullet again going. I will temporarily cut my hair into a mullet if they go 10-6.
Let's stick with the shade.
Yeah,
I like the
let's stick with the
shaved
whole thing.
approach.
Yeah.
You really don't want
You
me
already
to
have a mullet.
Not right now.
I know, but normally.
No, but I would like Billy Ray Cyrus shave it high and tight and then let it flow down.
Your Bama bangs were amazing, though.
I'm telling you, I'll
Business
do it.
in the front, party in the back.
I'm telling you, I'll do
Just
it.
like Mike Gundy.
I did that once for Mardi Gras one year when I was in college. I went to Supercuts and asked them to cut my hair into a mullet, and they said, "What is that?"
What?
And I said, "What? Are you kidding me?" So they tried to, and then I went to my friend's apartment, and so we did it worse. And so we went to Endymion the next day, and my girlfriend was pissed, very furious. Everyone thought it was funny except her. She says, "Why do you always have to be the butt of the jokes?" Yada, yada, yada.
When was this?
Needless to say, she is not my wife. Needless to say.
Rightfully so. I'm siding with her.
What?
I'm siding with her.
Why?
You don't bust out a mullet on your girlfriend.
So what? It's fun.
So what?
It's Mardi Gras.
So what? A lot what?
We're 20, 21.
mullet.
We're like 21
A
years
mullet's
old.
never a good idea. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're 6. It's not a good idea.
I did it as a joke.
Yeah. So obviously.
Yeah, it was a joke, all right.
Joke was on her. Good luck to her in life. 504-260-1280. I forgot, Dave. I forget.
Josh.
Who we got in Sacramento? Josh? Sacramento? Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
I've lost my mind in my mullet talk. Hey, Josh, thanks for calling the show. What you got, buddy?
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. I always listen to you guys' podcast. Just want to say that. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, man.
I'm a huge Saints fan. Been a Saints fan since I could remember. And the one thing I just wanted to say, just the last couple of days, you guys have been talking about draft picks and just a few other things. I really think that Sean Payton, I don't know who's in charge of defensive development or who's in charge of development or talent. They need to, either Sean is going to have to go this year if you don't get to 9 or 10 wins, or Mickey Loomis or someone, because other than Cameron Jordan in the Sean Payton era, you can't give me one defensive stud. Just a stud, not a superstar, just someone really good, that's still currently on the team. It's pretty bad. And the other thing I'll say is I feel like at times we're not even trying on offense. There's a couple times in the Patriots game and even in the Minnesota Vikings game, we're down on the other side of the field in the opponent's, territory, and it's 4th and 1, and our defense isn't stopping anybody, or 4th and 3, we're not going for it. I feel like we're kicking a field goal or kicking the ball away. I feel like, if your defense is that bad and you know it, you should be going for it regardless. You've got nothing to lose at this point. So that's all I really wanted to say.
Hey, Josh, appreciate the phone call and appreciate you listening to us on, the iHeartRadio app or podcast or any which way you want to do it. Appreciate the phone call. Jeff, thoughts?
Out in Sacktown, he had some really good points.
Yeah.
I don't think Mickey Loomis is going anywhere. It's just not going to happen. Larry and I have talked about this till we're blue in the face. He is the most trusted member of the Saints organization, along with Dennis Lauscha. He's part of the inner circle that Tom Benson trusts implicitly. Now, he may be charged with finding a new coach, and I think everybody agrees that probably would happen if this thing does not go in the right direction. But I don't think Mickey Loomis is going to be out of a job. Now, maybe what could happen is he moves into a Rich McKay-like presidential role, like Rich McKay is in Atlanta, and you have the football guys, Scott Pioli, Tom Dimitroff, that group run the football operation. I could see something like that happening. But Tom Benson runs his organization much differently than Arthur Blank runs the Falcons. They are more of a, and I hate to use the term mom and pop because that sounds negative, but they are just a smaller, closer-knit front office than a lot of other NFL teams, and that's not always bad. The New England Patriots are, by comparison, smaller than most other front offices as well, but they're the New England Patriots, and they've got Bill Belichick.
Well, I think you'd argue all you got to see is the way they have the Saints and the Pelicans, and a lot of people do double duty. I think you could fairly say they run it differently because other NBA organizations would seemingly have more personnel to do more things, and it's unique. It's the gripe that a lot of fans of both franchises and have said publicly, and it's. I think people make too much of Mickey Loomis's involvement in the Pelicans. He's kind of just a go-between, honestly, with Dell Demps, but to Tom Benson. But still, the fact that he's got to be involved in that process is not something you'd want. And honestly, it's probably not what Sean Payton wants either.
No, and I think the thing I would say in defense of Mickey Loomis is that I think he understands Tom Benson's ownership style, and behind closed doors does a lot of positive things that people don't see. Managing the owner, and that's not just Mickey Loomis, any general manager in the league has to manage his owner, and I think he does a lot of positive things in that regard that you just don't see. And his strength, I think, is managing Sean Payton. They're both very different in personality. Mickey does not seek the spotlight. Sean Payton's a very high-profile head coach, and I think in a lot of ways that's worked. That synchronicity, if you will, has led to the most successful era in Saints history, but it's somehow gotten off track. There's no question.
And Jeff, I'd agree. I think that's the perfect way to describe what Mickey does, because he's and let's be frank. I mean, we talked about Tom Benson's age already on the show. He's 90 years old. Do you think he would, in this stage in his life, does he want to go out and find a new GM that he doesn't really know that well? No. I wouldn't think so at all.
Not in the least.
No.
And that's the concern I have, and Saints fans everywhere should have, is what's next? If they do have to blow this up, do you have faith that they can put it back together, considering Tom Benson's age and the lack of experience in the rest of the ownership group?
Totally agree. One more segment. Clyde's time to shine. Finally coming up. We stalled it on you, Clyde. You've got nervous over there.
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, you haven't.
No, I haven't. Think so.
College picks and one NFL pick. Coming up next here, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc and Holder.
He was there through my incarceration.
Josh Innes.
The reality about LSU is we saw an incredibly ill-prepared football team.
Afternoons, noon until 2.
And that falls on the coach. 100% falls on the coach. And I gave Ed Orgeron the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt's over now.
Sports 1280.
That's done.
New Orleans.
I'm ready to go.
Hater.
Presented by Southern
Hater.
Blazers,
13 and
WGNO
17.
TV, ABC,
Picks hater.
and NOLA 38.
This is a good story.
CW, Saturday,
Trip
November
retweeted.
11th at Audubon
This guy
Aquarium
used to be with the
Plaza
Saints,
from 3
remember
to
him?
6. Limited VIP
like
and general
spawned
admission
all
on
these-
sale now at
all these, like, deep snapper
WineOnTheRiverNOLA.com.
guys,
Proceeds
including-
benefit the Louisiana Hospitality
including
Foundation.
Zach Wood.
Low, low prices every day.
When was he
Nifty
here, that
car
guy?
rental. Best rates, best service.
He
and
was
best
like in
vehicles.
camp
Free pickup,
years
delivery, and
ago.
drop off.
And he went to ended up making the Cowboys, and then he's become this like guru of long snapper guru. Yeah. A few practices with the
Kohl's
Saints
Fall
before he's
Style
supposed to
event
match.
is going on now. Stop in and see the smart new look of Apartment 9 for men and women. Now
Cool
25 to
story.
50% off. Apartment 9 is smart style designed for 9 to 9. Plus, take an extra 20% off when you spend $100 or more.
Versace is their-
Or
I
an
didn't
extra
realize he was
15% off when you spend under $100.
with-
You'll get
he was a
Kohl's
running
cash
back
too,
coach.
right now at Kohl's.
I
Select
interviewed
styles.
him
Offer valid September
about
14th
Deuce
to
way back
24th.
when
Yeah, when they
Promo code
drafted
PASSION.
him.
Some exclusions apply.
Deuce
See
said he's
store
like
at Kohl's.com for
the best receiver I had.
details.
I think he went to
Sports 1280 encourages you to do what you can to help out the victims of the recent hurricanes. You can drop off relief supplies like water, underwear, and toiletries at our building, 929 Howard Avenue in downtown New Orleans. We've also partnered with Educational Products Incorporated to support the Flood Relief School Supply Drive to replace school supplies lost in the flooding. Go to sports1280.com. A message from Sports 1280 Communities, helping to make a difference in New Orleans.
Download the McDonald's app and
All right, 10 seconds.
with any purchase every week. And right now, get any size soft drink, sweet tea, or coffee for just $1 anytime in McDonald's. Limited time. Participation may vary. See McDonald's.com/app for details. McDonald's. I'm loving it. Oh!
Dunc and Holder now. Josh Innes next at noon on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Jeff and I have no rhythm. If you're watching us on YouTube Live, God bless your soul.
I think they already know that, man.
Actually, we just corrupted your
Speak
soul.
for yourself, mullet man.
I won't be having a mullet because my hair will be staying put. No problem.
We'll see about that.
10-6. You're right. No chance.
It can happen.
Can't wait.
Technically, it can happen because they're only 0-2. This is correct.
Drew Brees said you should believe.
We believe
all
once, we can do
believe
it
in
again.
Brees.
How do I give the side-eye emoji in real life?
No, you kind of got to tilt your head back a little bit and just kind of look. Your eyes have to go one way, and then you have to kind of arch your neck back a little bit and be like, what? And then make sure that your eyes are saying that.
He is way too quiet.
I told you. We talked about me being your emoji translator.
There we go. All right, Clyde. Let's get ramped up.
Let's go, guys. All right, we're going to make this one fun, good. We have the rest of the show to do this, so let's get it started. Coming out of the gate with a bazooka. Bama at Vanderbilt. Alabama is an 18.5-point favorite at a Vanderbilt team that is off to one of its best starts. Guys, 18.5 points, Alabama, number one team in the country. Who's won this game? Who's going to do it? Why? Go.
I'm going to go with Alabama to cover. I think Vandy's coming off a huge win against Hacksaw Herbie Teope's Kansas State Wildcats.
He was not happy about that, by the way.
No, of course he
was disappointed.
He was definitely disappointed. But, look, I think Alabama's going to go in, turn it on, and it's a 2:30 game, CBS. I think they know that's prime real estate for SEC. People are going to be watching. I think Alabama's going to come out and win by at least 3 touchdowns.
I'm with the mullet man.
Really?
I'm with the mullet man. I think they're going to roll. I think Alabama has been in cruise control. They've been laying in wait for a big game, and this, I guess, Vanderbilt qualifies as a big game. They're going to crush Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, under Derek Mason, has obviously shown marked improvement every year. Going into last year, obviously, getting to a bowl, playing well in a bowl, winning a bowl. That defense is absolutely one of the better ones. I really think it's underrated in the SEC for a reason, because you're not talking about how Vanderbilt's defense is sexy. No one's going to talk about that. But 18.5 points is a lot of points. You're playing in Nashville. Derek Mason is going to get this team absolutely jacked for this game. However, you're still going against Nick Saban in Alabama. So we're going to go with Alabama.
What? That long-winded explanation of hope.
Yeah, right?
And you basically used, they're playing in Nashville as a the vaunted Vandy home crowd.
Woo! Stadium.
No.
I've covered games there. I worked there before I came down here.
I figured, Jeff, you would probably have some
covered games.
That.
It is not hostile territory.
Yeah. In the middle of downtown Nashville. All right, guys. Second game. This one, we're going to Big 12 country. Another one of these sleeping teams. And the 2 games I have coming up next are going to talk about what I saw on ESPN today about how these 2 teams have a chance to kind of make their way into the CFP. TCU is at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 12.5-point favorite over the Horned Frogs in Stillwater. By the way, shout out to Hideaway Pizza. If you are ever in Stillwater, the Oklahoma area, Hideaway Pizza is a fantastic spot.
You giving away free advertising here? What's going on?
I don't know if I'd say that. I'm just giving people tips. I mean, we're writing stories about where to go in Charlotte.
Look, I'm going to hang my hat on my buddy Pat Forty, who covers college football for Yahoo.com, and he thinks Oklahoma State is a sleeper college football playoff team, and they've done it so far. They've been really impressive. I'm going to lay the points because I think it's a trap.
So you're going to take TCU?
No, I'm laying the points. Oklahoma State's favored, right?
Now, TCU beat the hog snot out of Arkansas, right?
Right.
They did.
I'm assuming the Loser Leaves Town Bowl is going to be one of these picks, right?
Yes.
Okay. I will go because, you know what? This is weak. I'm going to Oklahoma State, too. I just think their offense is insane, and TCU's not as good as they've been in the past. So, I am going Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I was about to say you're probably. I'm spot on with you guys too. Oklahoma State obviously is clearly probably going to be one of the sleeper teams in the Big 12. Outside of Oklahoma, that Bedlam game is probably going to be for all the marbles. If not, isn't the Big 12 championship game coming back this year also as well? So
yes.
They may have to. So there's a possibility they could end up playing each other again in December.
That'll be a great matchup.
Right.
What are you picking? Are you going to throw another curveball at us at the last second?
No, I'm going straight up Oklahoma State on this one. And that moves us into the next game. After what we saw last week against LSU for Mississippi State at Georgia. Georgia is a 6-point favorite at home in Sanford Stadium against a team that just blew the doors off of LSU.
Ooh, this is a trap game, Jeff.
6
This
points,
is classic
Georgia.
trap game.
Classic. Take the Georgia Bulldogs, lay the 6. Mississippi State played a perfect. Ed Ogeron last night when I interviewed him said he thinks they played a perfect game against LSU. That's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. They had their big emotional win. They probably were out partying all week in Starkville. I like Georgia big in that game.
Remember, Georgia's playing a freshman quarterback.
I know that.
But he's been good.
He
won at Notre Dame on the road.
Yeah.
I'm going Georgia, too. This is the weakest pick segment ever. I'm just taking everything Jeff
no
says.
Controversy here, yeah.
No, nothing. So, Georgia. I'm going with Georgia and the -6.5.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm not sold on State after. I mean, it is what
You're
it is.
You're just trying to maintain this is going to be your strategy the rest of the year.
You can't pin that on me, Duncan. You can't pin that on
me,
Duncan.
So you can keep your lead. That's what you're doing.
This is why Jeff thinks the segment's boring because we're all picking alike. Do you want me to go off the grid again and be a sucker?
What he's done is he's picking all our picks so he can keep the lead.
Yes, yeah.
He's not going on a limb. He's
this early.
Maintain 16 weeks from now.
This early, he's
playing, bro.
This early, he's playing the box and one offense, and he's just throwing it around.
All right.
No shot clock like high school basketball.
Typical Morgan City crap.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my hometown. Shout out to Morgan City.
All right. What else we got?
Let's see what happens in the next 5 picks. All right. The next game, Florida at Kentucky. Florida is a 1.5-point favorite at Kentucky. Kentucky is 3-0. Remember that team that we thought was going to get steamrolled by South Carolina last week? That didn't happen.
Boy, Florida.
I think Florida's won like 30 games in a row against Kentucky.
They have. They should have lost some last year.
No, I cannot ever pick Kentucky, ever. Gators.
You know what? Here we go. UK, let's do it, baby!
Dude.
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about.
Anything
That's
to
what I'm
rile
talking
up
about.
The Dunkster. Anything.
Yeah, because they know Louisville on this picks this week. Because I mean, no one cares if they blow the doors off of Akron.
Let's go Wildcats.
They're playing.
If Kentucky beats Florida, it's an indictment on the SEC East.
Well, I think that the jury's still out after what we saw because they should have lost last week to Tennessee, if not for a completely world-beating Hail Mary.
Wait, that was a tied game at the time. It was tied.
That game should have gone to overtime.
Well, that doesn't mean they should have lost.
Yeah, it does.
You sound like fans out there that just that's my favorite last year, the Saints-Giants game. The Saints would have won that game if it wasn't for the blocked field goal. No, it was in the second quarter that happened. There was still another half of football to play.
As Val has said on YouTube, Jeff, you're letting your Louisville bias cloud your judgment.
Oh.
So I think
rightfully
we're not alone
so,
here, bro.
Val, Jeff got this YouTube thing back up because of you, so I'd be very nice to Jeff.
That's true. That's a good point.
He did it for you, Val. He did it for you.
All right. As we talked about,
how many more games we got left?
We got a few more.
Yeah, we got.
How many more is a few more?
Let me get to it, and we can get past them. All right.
Okay.
The next game, obviously, talked about the Fire Bowl. Texas A&M at Arkansas. Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite in Vietnam.
Wow, Vietnam. I didn't know that was a real term.
You know that was what?
No,
dude. It's been a few years in the SEC. You pick up some names.
It's been a long time since I've been there. I'm going Kevin Sumlin in A&M. I think Brett Bielema is a wreck up there. Sumlin.
I'm taking the points at home. I'm taking Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I'm taking Texas A&M.
Oh, it's a little different. Finally, a difference.
Yep. Next game, guys. All right. Pac-12 action. Oregon, a 14-point favorite at Arizona State in Tempe.
I don't know anything about Arizona State other than when Pete Prisco goes on Twitter and complains about him. That's the only thing I know about Arizona State.
Don't bring Pete into this.
And Nebraska, You would have thought that would have been a big win, Oregon over Nebraska, but Tanner Lee and company lost to Northern Illinois, so at home. So what do I know? I'm going Oregon. I have no idea. Oregon. That's it. That's all I got.
Texas Tech beat Arizona State last week, 52-45. Their one win was against New Mexico State.
Which everybody beats New Mexico State.
Yeah, so I've got to go with Oregon laying the points. Steamroll. Ducks. In honor of Mickey Loomis, who was an Oregon grad.
Quack, quack, 3 for 3, going with Oregon. All right, guys, next game.
Who do you have? You forget your pick.
I said quack, quack. I'm going with Oregon.
Oh, I've missed it.
Yeah, you're not listening, so listen to this. Michigan, 10 points. I know, right? I'm
spicy, saucy Clyde over there.
It's a spicy hot take.
Vim and vigor.
Yeah, I'm full of the vinegar, guys.
What the hell's going on?
Michigan,
see, this segment's fun.
Michigan is a 10-point favorite against Purdue, a Purdue team that waxed Missouri last week on the road. Another one we got right.
But Missouri stinks, and I guess Drew Brees won that bet over Chase Daniel last week.
Yeah, he did in a big way. So Michigan, 10 points.
Where's Purdue. The game? At
West
Purdue?
Lafayette, Indiana.
I am going to go Purdue. Not to win, but to cover.
I'm with you on that. This is the Brady Brees Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Remember, they hyped this last week going into the Saints-Patriots. I like Purdue to cover, led by Jeff Brom, the future coach of the Louisville Cardinals.
See, we always bring Louisville even when we don't talk about them. I love it.
He's a great young coach.
I'm actually going with Michigan on this one.
See, Clyde is
going Michigan on this
Clyde's
one, guys.
taking a detour.
We guilted him into it.
Yeah, clearly.
What do we got?
Okay, we got 3 left. Duke, North Carolina, rivalry game, Tobacco Road. Duke is a 2.5-point favorite up the road at North Carolina. Larry, go.
I'm going to go North Carolina because Brandon Harris still isn't the quarterback anymore, so North Carolina.
Duke. David Cutcliffe, one of the underrated coaches in all of football.
Absolutely.
I like Duke a lot, but North Carolina, you're right, they're better than their record.
They are.
So that's going to be a tough game, but I like Duke.
Yeah, I like Duke as well. Been a Duke fan all my life. Not football, basketball related, but I'm going with Duke.
That says a lot, Clyde.
I know, right?
Duke basketball.
We're going to get to basketball eventually. All right, guys, 2 left. Army at Tulane here at Ullman Stadium this Saturday morning. I believe it's at 11 a.m.
Yep.
Tulane is a 2.5-point favorite against Army at Ullman. Jeff, who you got?
Well, I'll be covering this game, and I am picking the Green Wave. I think it's important for them. I think they know they've got to get this win. Yeah, I like Tulane in this game a lot.
Larry?
I'm going to go Tulane as well. Just call it I just want my friend to stay sane. Todd Graffinini. Of course, you can listen to him on Sports 1280, 10 o'clock pregame, 11 o'clock kickoff right here on Saturday morning. So, yep, the Graf and the Greenies, Green Waves.
Roll Wave, making it 3 for 3, going with Tulane on this one. And all right, guys, the last game, big spread, no Darius Geis. You're missing 2 defenders due to targeting in the first half.
Listen to this.
Syracuse, 21-point dog to LSU in Death Valley. Gentlemen, what you got?
Cuse. You changing your mind? Brent's going to change your mind?
LSU rolls. It's not even going to be a game. They'll have 40. They'll be in the 40s scoring-wise.
Clyde, who you got?
30
I
seconds.
don't trust this one. I think this one's a ruse. I'm going with Syracuse.
Going with the Cuse. All right, that's our picks. They're destined to stink. We didn't venture too far off. Go UK, baby. Anything to anger Jeff. Anything.
Hey, quick note. Gene says it's been since 1974 that all 3 of our teams have lost by that many points. Actually, it's no. That was the most 75 points in 74.
10 seconds.
There we go. Want to thank Brent Axe. Want to thank Juan Kincaid. Friday's show ought to be a good one. Come on back. Sports1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. See you tomorrow.
If you own a gun, you have a full.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. All right. See y'all tomorrow.
Buddy.
Thanks, Stud.
Get into the hands of
That was awesome.
troubled teenagers.
See, how much fun was that? It's a little livelier today. Clyde brought the spice to bring you back.
Remember.
Yes, see, that's what I was doing it specifically for that.
Telling
For
you to
more
be quiet.
information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the
I swear I've never heard that.